Marco, the mic is pretty far away. The volume is very low.
Yes, but there's nothing we can do about that. Okay, so welcome. This is VCD Roundtable number 39. We are live also from the Architecture Think Tank. Some of our audience left us already because they didn't want to be in the session, or they found that compliance reporting is not so interesting. Clearly, all the other ones find this more important. Yeah, let's maybe quickly, as you are now in, quickly state your names and do it loudly enough so that it actually gets picked up by this.
Yeah, Marcel Mertens, Avata Systems, managed service provider in Germany here.
Trotte from Aria IT Services, also from Germany.
Hans Horvath, also Aria IT Services, also Germany.
Yeah, Matthias Rath, System GmbH from Germany. Hello.
Sascha from Comdivision.
And then we hand over to Toby to continue.
Yeah, hello guys, welcome to episode 39. Toby here as well. I hand over to Matthias.
Yeah, all the best from Vienna. This is Matthias. Hans, nice to see you live. Awesome. Looking forward to hear about Aria Operations and especially compliance reporting, because I'm the compliance manager with the Com division. All right, Alain, go for it.
All right, so I believe Matthias likes the subject. Hi from Antwerp in Belgium. Yes, today we talk about the very intriguing and useful compliance checks that you can do with your VMware Broadcom software. All right, this is actually, and I cannot stress it enough, also for service partners, this is a unique offering from Broadcom. There are, of course, many monitoring solutions. I do not know any other one that does compliance checking the same way, except one, but it was also bought by another company, so we're not going to mention them here. This is unique. And it all started also for me. I used to be at VMware. VMware used to have a product called VCM, vCenter Configuration Manager. Anybody remember? Don't be shy, raise your hands.
Honestly speaking, I didn't see that one coming. So
I even have a screenshot, but I don't know how to share my slides here.
Dude, I have a few really. Oh yeah.
Here it is. I did a training in Munich for a week, and this was a beautiful product, but it was Windows based. It was weird, very hard to install.
But it worked.
It worked beautifully. You could check your Active Directory for security. You could check if workstations had CD connected, and you could buy.
And you could use the vSphere security guide and validate your vSphere infrastructure.
Exactly. And the other ones you could buy at that time, and they were, let's say, not for free. So you could buy compliance for Sarbanes-Oxley, for ISO, and so on. Okay, good. Then we're talking 2013 here. This is the product we joked about internally, the product that would not die, because I think they made it end of life 3 times. And every time a customer said like, no, we need it. Okay. Then VMware started working on a SaaS offering, which they launched as a beta in the US, I think, for a limited amount of customers, which was Compliance Manager or something like that. No screenshots there. And this was a SaaS tool to do compliance checking of your vSphere environment. And then with the great overhaul of operations, they included this in vCenter Operations, now Aria. I have a screenshot somewhere. All right. So yeah, this is a presentation I used for the VMAC but I thought I'd show a few slides. So the beauty is this is now included in every version of Aria. Please don't ask me about licenses. You should never do that because we're in VCF licenses now. This is always included, even in the basic Aria that you find in VVF. And certainly if you use Aria in a service provider environment, you can use this. It's activated in policies. People will say, here he goes again with his policies. Yes, policies are the configuration files in Aria. And the beauty is you activate compliance checking for a group of objects or one vCenter or one host. You just activate the policy for that object. And then there is a check, and you get alerts if there are compliance that are out of range. Now the compliance, you can activate the packs. There are hugely useful packs like PCI. No, not the one we know. It's Payment Card Industry Association. You have ISO 27001 or 27000. You have CIS for the Americans. You have DISA and a few others. And you even have, and I'll talk about it a bit more, you have even one for sovereign cloud here in Europe. It's only detecting out-of-bound policies. There's no remediation, okay? Now, in the latest version of Operation, we're starting to do that, but again, this is a unique product. So what it does is, I'll quickly show you. So you enable it in the policies. Apologies for the people who listen to this podcast. Please go to our podcast page if you're interested and look at the video. So you see here all the regulatory benchmarks I have. These are FISMA, HIPAA for the health industry and so on. And if you activate them, yes, Matthias, the vSphere security hardening is still there, and also the vSAN and NSX, and you activate them, and after a while, operations will tell you, hey, you have 123 non-compliant objects, and this can be for one vCenter, or as you can see here, for a VCF environment, or you can forget most of the others on top. This was in a previous version. Only VMware Cloud on Google is still supported, I think. And then you get these alerts, and you can get in the alerts more information. So here a virtual machine is violating a VCF audit guide, and you can get into the details. So for example here, the symptom VM set vMotion encrypted is not set. This is required, should be set to encrypted, and it's not the case. So you can remedy this. So this is, and in the new operations, you can look at the list of all the requirements, all the rules, and you can look at what they are. They're different for every compliance benchmark. For sovereign cloud, that's, for example, one I saw earlier today is NSX is talking to an LDAP source, but this should be LDAP-S, secured, things like that. This is really useful, even if you use only the Broadcom VMware security guidelines for vSphere, NSX, and so on. This is already useful in your environment. It becomes even more useful. A real-life story I had in Germany. I was working with a big hospital and had a good relation with the guy installing operations there. We did that together in meetings. And in a meeting, he says, oh, well, next week I can't meet because we have an audit coming. I said, like, oh, which audit? Oh, well, our ISO 27000. And I had to reserve all week because the consultants are stopping by and I have to be ready. I said, like, well, why don't we activate ISO in operations? How much does it cost, did he ask? I said, it's free. We just activate it. We did. There came a few alerts, all of them related, if I remember correctly, around SSH settings. You can pull a report from this in operations. Nice report with the whole explanation. And the week after, he came back and he said, you wouldn't believe it. The consultants came in. I gave them the report. They were here an hour and they were gone. Probably very disappointed that it went so quickly and so well. So for service providers, this is of course useful for your own site or for your complete environment. If, for example, you are ISO certified, if you have that label as a quality label for your customers. I've seen service providers who have to activate this because of customers. PCI, because they host banks, and then the payment card industry rules have to be enabled. Those are the ones I see most. Yeah. And then, of course, if you are in the, let's say, rather new business of offering sovereign cloud in Europe, you can install that management pack in your environment where you run Cloud Director, where you run operations with all the extensions, and then he will give you reports on your compliance with sovereign cloud, which is even more important, I think, because it will be like a quality label for you in that environment. You are also quiet, guys. Oh, Matthias Kat has joined.
Oh.
She's interested in compliance.
Okay. So that's really cool. How can you build a report out of it? Because speaking about compliance, I'm more interested in a kind of a scheduled report.
Mm-hmm. Trying to hide. Well, remove from. Here we go. Well, the reports, they're just included with operations. They're pre-built. You install the compliance pack for, let's say, ISO. All the alerts are included and all the reports. They're just there. You just have to run them against the objects that you want to check the compliance on. Out comes the report. What you can also do is build your own compliance stack. So you can build your own compliance checking, take rules from different packs and include them in your own compliance checking and print your own reports. Matthias is now speechless.
I'm always speechless.
Especially when it comes to compliance.
Yeah. Trust me, in terms of compliance, it's very fun.
The compliance.
But is there also a chance to kind of build your own compliance rule set and validate your infrastructure against?
Yeah. So you can take rules out of the other compliance, or you build alerts that you can then include in your own compliance pack. Yeah. There are people who do that. I've seen customers do it themselves on even people that take it a step further than compliance, where they build alerts on the presence of certain objects or properties. You can go very far with this. I've seen this at a customer here in Belgium. Unfortunately, I didn't do it, but I watched it. So what they did was they had automation in place for deployment. And for certain things, now I have Matthias' attention. For certain things, they in operations has a huge API, a very rich API. And you can, of course, take a virtual machine object and add your own properties. So you can start doing tricks, and this is not difficult, like the good old VCM days, Yves. You can do tricks like, hey, for a VM, I'm going to create a property, virtual CD attached or USB enabled. the good old things you want to check on for security. And then you make it a Boolean, yes or no, and then you make an alert on that, like, hey, if the VM has the property USB enabled true, that's a compliance alert.
But honestly, because you said there is no remediation,
yes.
right? Let's face it, it's no remediation out of the box. Because if I can fire an alert, I can do something via REST.
Yes.
So no remediation. I would honestly phrase it not out of the box. So with every single alert, you can start an operation via REST. Maybe it's just orchestrator or whatever solution fits your needs to analyze the API call you sent and implement your own remediation. And if it might be a very simple approach, by just if an object, if a virtual machine, let's use your example, is not matching the compliance, I implement it, I disconnect the machine from the network.
Exactly.
Because I think it really depends on the infrastructure. There are some highly critical infrastructures which rely on certain features, like I need to react if I monitor that an object is out of compliance, I need to react automatically and just disconnect or whatever. I would just add one bullet to the whole compliance validation stuff, because as we are all and everyone in our audience is aware that operations manager has a 5 minutes collection cycle against the vCenter server.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we should make everyone aware that if an object violates a compliance policy, it can take up to 5 minutes until operations manager detects the violation and can fire up an alarm.
I'm not sure I agree with you.
You disagree. I agree that you disagree. No. So what can be done? Because that's my understanding.
Yeah. Of course, it depends how the alert is defined, because what you say is correct, of course, can take 5 minutes. We all know the collection cycle is 5 minutes. It collects all the data, but only every 5 minutes, because that's also a misunderstanding. It collects all the points, and in operations nowadays, you can enable 20-second intervals for some metrics. But you're right, normally it's still 5 minutes. You can change that, but
that has a big just for the audience to say the implication. You add a ton of load on the systems.
Yeah. But your alert, what we're discussing here, is an alert that is probably triggered by the dynamic range in VROps. If you have alerts for compliance that have a symptom that comes from a REST call, I think they could come quicker. I'm almost convinced of that.
But we should stick, I think, from the basic understanding, we should stick. It's not like a very fast or a very short reaction time, because we still speak about minutes.
Yeah.
And I think everyone should just be aware of it, because if I implement a system which could react automatically on a behavior, I always need to be aware, what is my reaction time?
Yeah, you're right, Matthias. And because you say that, we should also make it clear. We talked about compliance, which is something everybody loves, of course, which is something you do not run probably every hour or something like that. What we were starting more and more to digress into almost security detection, which is, of course, very much quicker. And like you said, detach a VM from the network because of problem. That's almost more something for things like Oh gosh, I forget the name of the product. Let's say something carbon black like. So yes, it's not instantaneous, but like you said before, we have to stress again. You can do some remediation, certainly via Orchestrator. It's very easy if you install the REST module and that your Orchestrator listens to posts from operations. You can do a lot of stuff there. And there is even better news, Matthias, in the latest operation. Because what do we have now? We have in compliance configuration drifts. Yes.
Oh, we're back with VCM.
Yes. Did I say they're going to change the name? No. No. I'm sure that there are some old VCM guys left. That no, I know where this
Did you just call me old?
That there are some. I didn't say you. If you're old, what am I? No. I'm sure this comes from the. Well, I can't say that, but I think the inspiration comes from a product that used to exist, which was Cloud Health Secure State, and then called Tanzu Guardrails, and now doesn't exist anymore. Was a beautiful product for compliance checking, but a SaaS product doesn't exist anymore. But that also had the notion of configuration drifts. And what it is that in operations now, you can define the, let's call it, template of your configuration, your vCenter with everything around it, with certain settings, with certain software installed, and you say, hey, this is my configuration 1. I link this to this vCenter or to this host, and when there are drifts in the configuration, alert me.
Yeah, but honestly, I think that will be also used in VCF9 maybe, and we're looking forward how this all integrates into the new world and the new bright world of VCF9.
Yeah.
But back to compliance, it's a philosophical question, because if we talk about compliance, how fast do we need to detect if an object is out of compliance? And I think that is just a question which needs to be asked with and discussed with the customer, right? What's the detection time? What's really necessary for the infrastructure?
Yeah.
And I think in most cases, it's like you said, Alain, it's either hours or days would be fine.
Or let's be honest, we're all techies. They do it once.
Once a year. Once in a lifetime.
Report, we go. Because of if you really dive into compliance, there are, of course, these funny rules like it doesn't have to be perfect, but you have to be able to prove that it is documented.
Yeah. But if we come back to our service providers and we talk about compliance and operations manager, so we are all aware that operations manager is not let's phrase it the best product for multi-tenancy or something like this. So if we talk about compliance and compliance monitoring, is it something which can be offered in a self-service fashion, or is it more a managed product offering from a CSP side of view?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
You always have good questions. I'm thinking, but I think unless you do API call programming again for your tenants, for your customers, it is not self-service, because you hurt my feelings, of course, where you said that operations is not the best multi-tenancy. If you
I didn't say no multi-tenancy, so...
What is very easy is, of course, if you run Cloud Director and you load the Cloud Director management pack in operation, your operations becomes able, because Chargeback is integrated now. I won't repeat myself, previous podcast. You get all these features for the Chargeback thingies, but also you get your inventory tree with all your organizations, org VDCs, and so on, and objects, VMs, and everything. And then we come back to what I said in the beginning. For the compliance, it's simple as this. You create.
It's not me.
It's not me because I'm on.
All right, let's blame Toby.
I'm on mute for. Okay. You don't even have to create groups. You can, as I said, you can enable compliance checking for an individual object. That object could be an org VDC or an organization. And the customer tells you, hey, we are a bank. This really happened to a customer of ours. We are a bank and we need PCI checking of our environment. Okay, we enable PCI checking for your organization.
You know how you could do that? You could just add a metadata on the OVDC.
Why would you add metadata?
Because with the metadata, I can tell operations manager I'm PCI.
Oh,
ooh, fancy.
And then the multi-tenancy of operations also makes for the fact that you can make metrics, alerts, and reports available to tenants.
Mm-hmm.
So the tenant can himself access the report for his PCI compliance and run that when he needs it.
So summing up, I as a CSP could enable it or could use it on a per OVDC or maybe per organization base. Mm-hmm. And let's phrase it a nice product out of it, a managed service. But the report, there is no need to send the report via email. Just make it available in the portal for the CSP to download, or even a customer.
Yes, the report. Yeah, you could even make it as simple as if you have for customers somewhere a file system, OneDrive or whatever. When you run reports, you can automatically save them to at least an NFS share, and I think also an SMB.
We should not get that fancy.
You call saving file fancy.
Cool. If you want to add something about compliance.
Me. I'm never in compliance.
Because you're Mr. Compliance.
I'm Mr. Compliance. Yeah, I have to work out everything all the time when it is not compliant.
All right, so it doesn't make any sense if Eve is talking because we don't understand you.
We do.
I don't.
That's your problem. Anything from our group here, anything you always wanted to ask Alain about compliance? What you could do with operations manager, but you need to speak out loud or really come a bit more near to the computer.
See, and based on the pronunciation, you now know exactly that Eve is currently in Germany.
They are all waiting for dinner.
Oh, okay. So it's just me. No, it's Alain and me between you guys. My side between you guys and dinner.
Well,
of time.
I think beers first.
Okay.
It's your chance.
All right.
Okay.
One question which we had throughout the week. When will all the new BSI, so the German security standards, come into VCOps?
That's a good question. Yeah.
I know, that's why we asked it.
There is that one, and there are others. Yeah, if I could find the persons who could answer that question for me, because I'm also interested because here in my dear little the new security standards for NIS2 came into action in October. So it would be very nice to have compliance checking for that too. Yeah. I don't know. I keep looking for it. But people always run away when I talk about compliance. Maybe we should make one ourselves.
No. Because the first one we need to get rid of is Sasha. So I don't want that. No.
Okay, any other question, Matthias, Toby?
Not from my side.
Oh, I asked many.
Yeah.
What's our topic in 2 weeks?
Ask Sasha. He's the responsible guy.
We will find some topics.
I think we have a bunch of ideas from the challenge days and the architecture think tanks. So.
Nice.
And at least since VCF 5.2.1 is here, we can also cover what's new in there.
So we have a volunteer next episode 40,
Thanks.
to be VCF 5.2.1.
Why did I always make the same
Fine.
mistake again?
Fine, the lessons learned. Toby is not learning his lessons.
Okay.
So thank you very much for covering all the compliance stuff around Aria Operations. I think it's pretty interesting. And so famous last words for me. Looking forward with the CSP folks to come up with a few ideas, creating products and offering to the customers. All right. Thanks for watching. So bye from my side. Alain, Yves, whoever wants to say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye and stay compliant.
Oh, nice.
That was a nice one. Yeah, guys, see you in the next episode. Bye.